Hi, it's X-Ray Vision from Cuatro Cinco Studios. What we've uploaded here is a workshop that we did on Zoom last night where we went over how to set up a MetaMask wallet and answered some questions and kind of gave an overview of what Hex is and the process of buying and staking Hex. If you want to participate in a future Zoom live workshop, then there's a link down below where you can click and fill out your information. Any email or information you want to give us is fine. We're not going to sell it or share it with anybody, but that way we can notify you about the next Zoom workshop and you can participate live. Also below that, we didn't have a lot about the exchanges on the Zoom workshop, so if you're watching this a second time, we have some links to some tutorials of how to walk through setting up Coinbase and some of the other exchanges. So you can click on those if you need help setting that up as well. Right now, our next Zoom live stream or workshop is set up for next Monday the 8th. Yeah, Monday the 8th at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We'll be doing another one of these Zoom calls, answering questions and covering more of the stuff and anything that's come out, any updates on Pulse and Hex, we'll be covering at that time. So down below, you'll find some of the links of the websites that you use to buy and stake Hex. So enjoy the video, and hopefully we'll see you guys on future Zoom live workshops. And we'll keep uploading these to YouTube for the people that can't make the live streams. So thank you. Okay, it looks like we are live, ready to go with this fun show here. I'm Max, aka X-Ray Vision, and I'm just putting together a little workshop here. Sometimes we try to get together in person or get together in maybe a local library, and a lot of people can't make it to that in person, and so I thought, why not just go virtual and say hi to everybody. First of all, this is being recorded. We're going to upload it to my YouTube channel later for people that couldn't make it to the meeting. And there's also going to be a big mix of people here. There's going to be people that are brand new that don't even know what Hex is or what it's about. There's going to be people that have been in for a little bit and kind of understand it. And there's going to be a lot of people that have been in for a while and are looking for updates and seeing what's coming next and want to stay updated. So with that being said, if you don't want to be seen on YouTube or heard, then you don't have to participate in any other way other than watching. That's totally fine. And the way I like to do this, I've got a tutorial set up that talks about the MetaMask walkthrough. So we're going to do a MetaMask walkthrough, which is one of the parts of getting set up, and then we'll just go to questions and answers and talk to other people that are in here. So, anyways, a brief introduction about myself and about the thing that we call Hex, which is all over my shirt. I'm a big fan of it. I've been doing crypto for quite a while. I got into Bitcoin about 7 or 8 years ago and was hoping to someday use that as a tool for my own financial freedom. And what I usually ask people when I meet them or when I get talking about this is, what would you do with $1 million? If you won $1 million, then how would you spend that? Okay. So like I was saying, I was getting into cryptos and trying to find a way to get financial freedom. And some people, if you ask them what they would do if they won $1 million, some people would pay off all their debt and save for a rainy day and use it for stability. Some people would invest it in something practical like a 401k or a CD at a bank. Some people would go crazy, would go on vacation, buy all the toys they've ever wanted and just enjoy it. And then another group of people would probably use that money to quit their job and go do whatever it is that they love, whether it's making knives by hand or doing stand-up comedy or gardening, whatever it is that your passion is. And so everybody has their own purpose for looking into tools and things that might help them out with financial freedom. They all have their own motivation for these things. So my motivation was mostly freedom, was walking away from the job, doing what I wanted to doing what I loved. And so that really motivated me to invest a lot of time and energy into learning about cryptocurrencies and things that would pay me while I was sleeping. And I think that's what I found in Hex. So a couple of years ago, a guy named Richard Hart founded this cryptocurrency called Hex, and it was based on the CDs at banks. So if you go into a bank and you deposit a large amount of money, then usually there's a time period that's stipulated saying you're going to leave it there for a year or longer, or a series of months. And based on how long you leave the money there, the bank is going to pay you an interest on that amount of money that you're leaving with them. And so this was basically what Hex was based on, was you could lock up a certain amount of money for a certain amount of time and it would pay you a yield. So it's truly passive income. The difference between going to your bank and doing this with Hex is that Hex is all done with code and computers. And then of course, banks are done with human beings and the system that we're used to. So that's the main difference between the two. So I'm going to jump into the tutorial really quickly here and just do a step-by-step on how to set up a MetaMask. If I go a little bit quick, don't worry about this, because like I said, this is going to be on YouTube later, so you can pause it and slow it down. So if you go on to the next one there, we're going to share our screen here with you guys. Okay, so like I said, the introduction was myself and kind of what Hex is, and then this is basically the entire process in a nutshell here. You set up a MetaMask wallet on a Google Chrome browser, and that's going to be where you keep all of your money at. Basically, that's where you control your money. And then you're going to move your, the first thing you're going to do is create an account on an exchange. So you're going to go to somewhere like Coinbase, Kraken, crypto.com, someplace that sells cryptocurrency. And you'll set up an account there, just like setting up a bank account. Then, like I said, you'll set up the MetaMask wallet, which is what we're going to kind of go through tonight. And then once you are able to buy cryptocurrency from the exchange, you can move it over to that MetaMask wallet. And
is it all right to ask questions while you're talking, or should we wait till you're done?
Yeah, no. Go ahead and ask a question. We'll go through that. Go ahead.
So I just noticed that Coinbase now, if you set up a wallet with them, you can buy Hex. Is there a benefit to going? Because I've already got an account with Coinbase. Would it give me a benefit to go over to MetaMask wallet, or would their wallet be okay to stay with?
As far as I know, you can't buy Hex directly on Coinbase unless that's like something that just happened this afternoon.
It's actually called Coinbase Wallet.
Oh, okay.
And so it's just recent that happened, maybe a week or so ago, that you could do that.
Okay, if you are able to buy Hex with their wallet, the only thing you'd want to make sure you can do with a wallet or with any place like Coinbase or an exchange is you want to make sure that you hold your private keys and that you have control over the money, because a lot of places like Coinbase, the regular Coinbase, or Robinhood, or Binance, is that as long as your money is on the exchange, they hold the private keys and control the money, and you don't, which is why we like to move the cryptocurrency over to MetaMask.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you.
No problem. Appreciate it. And then, like I said, once you get the money into MetaMask wallet, you can connect the MetaMask wallet to the Ethereum exchange, ethhex.com, and then you can stake it and lock it up for interest on go.hex.com. So those two last websites are actually going to connect to your MetaMask wallet, and we'll go into that later. This is very this is a very broad overview, and I know that a lot of this stuff is going to be a completely new language, and it's not going to make any sense to a lot of people the first time they hear it. So feel free to take your time with it and ask questions like Jason did, because it is a little overwhelming. It's quite a learning curve the first time you go through this. So if you want to go to the next slide. So, and the next one, I already talked about that. Okay, so these are some of the exchanges that are available to most of the people in the US. You've got Coinbase, which works with most banks and takes about a week to get verified with your information. And it usually takes about a week to have the ability to move your money off of these of these exchanges, because usually the first time you go to move money, they'll freeze it for a few days. So there's Coinbase, there's crypto.com, which is a lot like Coinbase. It works with most banks, including the local and smaller banks and credit unions. And it takes about a week to get verified. All of these exchanges are going to require personal information, like your driver's license and your bank information, because they're basically setting up a bank account for all intents and purposes. Dharma.io works on your phone, and Dharma.io works with the larger banks. So we're talking about Wells Fargo or US Bank, bigger national banks. And you can buy Hex directly with Dharma.io, and they hold on to your coins for about 7 days before releasing them to another wallet, like the MetaMask wallet. There's the Staker app that's on your phone. It's easier to integrate, but I know that they use a third party called Transact. So you'd have to make sure that your bank will work with Transact. And then there's Gemini and Cash App, which is actually how I got started when I had Bitcoin, because you can only buy Bitcoin on Cash App. And so it requires extra steps to convert the Bitcoin into Ethereum, and it will charge you extra fees to do that. So those are some of the exchanges that you can use to convert the fiat or the regular US dollars into cryptocurrency right there. Any questions so far? All right, so now we're going to go on to setting up your MetaMask wallet. This is recommended for desktops and laptops. They do have a mobile app on your phone. However, if this becomes worth a large amount of money, you're probably not going to want to carry it around on your phone mobily. You'll probably want it on a secure laptop or desktop that doesn't leave your house that often. So to do this, you're going to go on to the Chrome browser on your laptop or desktop. And the first thing you're going to go is you're going to want to go to metamask.io to make sure that you're going to the official site and not to someone that's doing a fake website. So like I said, you go to metamask.io, you click the download button, which is highlighted on the screen. And then that's going to take you to this page right here, where you're going to choose your operating system, whether you got an Apple or Android or Chrome. And most people that have Windows are going to stick with Chrome here. And then of course with the Apple, there's the iOS, and then you'll click Install MetaMask for Chrome. And that'll bring you to this one where you click Add to Chrome again. And it usually asks you twice if you want to add this to Chrome. So you're going to hit Add to Chrome, then it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to add this to Chrome? And you click yes, or Add to Chrome, or sorry, Add to Extensions. And then the next thing you're going to do is click Get Started once it downloads that extension. And then after you click it, this is a dummy account we were setting up. So when you're brand new, you're going to click Create Wallet on this side. If you're new, of course. And then you're going to want to create a password. So you're going to get a paper and a pen, and you're going to want to write down all of this information from here forward. So you'll write down your password, create a password, and then write it down for the future use. So you do not want to lose that password. And then the next one, the next screen is going to give you this right here. It's going to be gray, and it's going to say reveal secret recovery phrase. So when you click on the gray, it'll actually reveal 12 words. They're not going to be these 12 words, obviously. It will create 12 new words for you. And so you're going to want to write that down on the same piece of paper you got your password on. In this case, it's these 12 words right here. So you're going to want to write them down in order, 1 through 12. And then once you write it down, you're definitely going to want to keep it somewhere safe. We'll go over that in just a little bit. But once you got that written down, you'll go to the next screen. And when you're writing them down, like I said, you don't want to take a screenshot. You don't want to take a picture with your phone. You really don't want this stuff digitally copied somewhere unless you're a security expert and you know that you can keep this information safe. What I recommend is to handwrite them down, more than one copy, and save them in more than one safe location. And that way, as long as you have these words, you'll always be able to retrieve and access your funds, even if something happens to the device that you start this on. So if you start this on a laptop and the laptop breaks, goes down, gets ran over, whatever, you can go back onto Chrome again, put in these 12 words and access your information. And like I said, if something happens, let's say that you keep one copy at your house and that's all you have. If your house burns down or floods and you can't read those 12 words, that's it. Like you can't get back into them. And then of course, never share these words with anybody. These are, this is where your wealth is stored. So if someone online contacts you and claims that they're from MetaMask, or they claim that they're from Hex or anyone else, even if they sound legit, no one legit is ever going to ask for these 12 words. So never share these words with anybody. All right. So like I said, on the next screen, now that we've written them down, it's going to have you place them in the same order that it gave you in it. So here you can see I put them all in the same order. Nice is the last word here on the list. So when you put that into there, this confirm button right here is going to turn solid blue, and you can confirm it and move on to the next screen. If for whatever reason this doesn't turn dark blue, chances are you have a couple of these transposed or not in the right order. Okay. And then it's going to take you to this screen. Congratulations. You've set up your MetaMask wallet, and you can click all done right here on the bottom. It's going to give you some of the same things I was talking about. Don't give this information to other people, and it tells you how you can recover them. So let's say you wrote them down once on a piece of paper and it's gone, but you still have your password and you still have your laptop. At this point, you can, if you can get back in here, you can go into settings and security, type in your password, and it's going to give you the 12 words again. So you can retrieve it as long as you have access to it, but it's better not to need to get the 12 words again once you get them the first time. All right, and then once you open it, this is going to show you this screen right here. So this has your public address right here that you can click and copy, and you can copy and paste this and send it to other people. This is the address that you're going to send money to, and that other people are going to send money to in order to get it into your wallet. Down here, you have your balance. So the amount of Ethereum or the amount of money you have will show up here. And then down here, this will show up your Ethereum, your Hex, and other coins that you put into this wallet. And this is the wallet that you're going to connect to trade coins on the coin exchange, which was in the first slide, ethhex.com. And this is also the wallet that you're going to connect to go.hex.com to lock and unlock your money to receive your interest. So yeah, that's it right there. That's just a quick overview, a quick walkthrough of MetaMask. I know that that was incredibly fast. And if you're just trying to figure us out or follow along, it was probably too quick. So when we upload this to YouTube, feel free to go back, pause it, slow it down, watch it again. And of course, ask questions if I'd missed anything, or if you run into a problem with any of these steps that we can walk you through. So yeah. Okay, cool. All right, now let's just open it up to questions before, well, actually before questions, let me talk about the price of Hex really quickly. We saw Hex go from around 8 cents up to 20 cents, and then it went from 20 cents all the way up to 50 cents, and then came all the way back down to 20. So I've had a lot of people that were alarmed at the volatility of the price. And really, that's something that you're going to deal with in all crypto. Is there's a lot of volatility. You'll have prices go up and down up to 80% a day. And so if you're sitting there trying to trade it or count on that amount that day, then it can be very nerve-wracking. It can induce a lot of anxiety if you're planning on using this money to pay bills or buy food or whatever else. So I suggest if there's any money that you're going to need in the next 6 months to a year on bills or expenses, you probably don't want to put this money or invest this money into crypto of any kind. You want to use something that you have that I wouldn't say you can afford to lose, but that you definitely can let sit for long enough for it to gain enough value to make it worth the time and trouble of putting it in, pulling it out, and paying the fees. So at this point, I would just say we've actually had worse crashes and higher spikes than what we've experienced recently in Hex. And the first couple times you go through it, it's like a roller coaster, and it's very scary and unnerving. But once you've gone through 3 or 4 of them, it just kind of becomes normal. You know, you're like, well, we're down. So at some point you get to the point where you're buying on the way down and enjoying the basically the coin's going to be on sale when it comes down, because it almost always goes right back up to the same height or higher. In fact, Hex has doubled every 49 days on average since it started 2 years ago. And it might not stick to that 49-day schedule, but I doubt that it's going to go much further than that. So that being said, if you're not comfortable with huge price swings, then you may not want to invest that much into this. You might want to start with something as small as you can and watch it and get used to the ride before you invest more money. So yeah, that's just a little note about the price right now, because a lot of people this is the first experience of it going up to 50 cents, coming back down to 20 cents. And so I just want to let those people know that it's going to be okay. Any questions about what I've covered so far? I know this is this is your first time talking to me or looking into Hex and crypto, that's quite a bit. So yeah, if you guys want to any questions from you guys, or do you want me to start talking about the Ethereum and the PulseChain stuff?
I just have a few questions real quick, or maybe you're going to go over this. But I've had Bitcoin and Ethereum for quite a long time, and I've gone through the highs and lows, and I'm glad I didn't get rid of it because it's really high right now. I almost traded it out, but I'm glad I didn't. One of someone else that you've got into this was trying to explain some of it to me, but he didn't quite understand all of it. But I guess this is going to be splitting soon or something like that. Can you explain that more to me, or were you going to go into that already?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great segue. So
Okay.
basically, when Hex was released, it was released on the Ethereum network. So the Ethereum is another coin, and we use that coin to pay all of our fees currently. So when I lock up Hex, when I unlock Hex, when I move um, Hex, or when I move Ethereum, you're paying these fees to the miners, and the miners are the people that keep a record of this, all the transactions on the network. And back when we started this a long time ago, there's probably a lot of people in the audience that were locking and unlocking their hex and doing these transactions, and they can remember that that used to be less than 10 cents to do a lot of these transactions, and then it went up to $1, and then it went up to $10, and currently you're looking at $30 on a good day to get a transaction done, and you're looking at up to $1,000 for a transaction on a really bad day when the network is congested. And this made a lot of people that were investing $50 to $100 and locking it up, it made it unfeasible because the fees were more than the hex and the interest were worth pulling out, even with the rise of the hex price. And so the um, the founder of Hex, Richard Hart, realized the damage that this was doing to our project and decided to create his own network, which is a fork of Ethereum. So a fork of a network, for those of you that don't know, is basically you copy the record from this other network and you copy all of the transactions, and then you launch them on a new network that will hopefully work better than the old one, right? So the new network is called PulseChain, and we've been waiting for it to come out for the last couple months, and it may take a month or two, maybe even more for it to come out. So that's where we're at right now, is we're waiting for this other network to launch. But when the other network launches, you're going to have a copy of all the coins that you have on Ethereum on the new network, on the Pulse network. And so that includes the Hex coins, both the coins that are locked up earning interest and the coins that are unlocked that we call liquid. So you have your liquid copy and you have your staked or locked up copy. They're both going to be on the new network. So you're going to have a clone, or basically in traditional finance, a lot of times they call it a stock split. So you're going to have twice as many of your coins, and they're going to have different prices or values on the different networks. So the Ethereum coins are going to be worth a certain amount, and the Pulse chain coins are going to be worth a certain amount. And I imagine they'll be close, especially at the beginning, but then you'll see them change and move against each other as time goes on.
I just want to make sure when you said that you're going to have, does that mean you're going to have double the amount of coins?
Yeah, you'll have double the amount of tokens.
Okay. So that's an added jump right there. Is there a day when this is going to happen, or do we know?
That's what we're trying to figure out. We've been waiting patiently. A lot of people have been following the progression of the code being written on GitHub and the depositories that the coders use. And so right now there's a test net open right now that you can use and go on and practice, that they're finding all the bugs, and they're just going over it and fixing the code right now. So hopefully it's just a matter of time, hopefully weeks and months, that this launches, because they want to make sure that it launches without any problems, obviously. And so we're looking to the next month or two for this to go live and out of the test net. But if you download the MetaMask wallet like I did, like I was showing you, there's actually a faucet where they will give you like play money on this new test net, and you can actually practice sending the coins back and forth. And just recently, they set it up where you can lock these coins, the Pulse coins, not just the Hex coins, or not the Hex coins, but the Pulse coins, because when Pulse launches, you'll be able to buy. So on the Ethereum network, you're going to pay the Ethereum coins for your fees, and on the Pulse network, you're going to pay Pulse coins for fees. And so right now, when Pulse launches, you're going to be able to lock up your coins for a short amount of time and earn interest on the Pulse coins, which is something that they've been trying to do on Ethereum for several years.
I've been in cryptocurrency for a long time, but I've never had the stake or the interest or any of that kind of stuff. So that's a new thing. Maybe they do that on other cryptocurrencies, but not the one I've never had that before. So that's kind of a new thing for me. Is that only Hex that does that, or is that other cryptocurrencies too?
Well, there's quite a few cryptocurrencies that have stuff like staking and interest. The difference is that with most of these, like with Coinbase, you can actually lock up some of the stable coins that stick around $1, and they'll pay you like 8% a year on the stable coins. Binance also has some of the stuff, and then there's a network called Celsius that does it. The difference between all these networks and Hex is that in Hex you're trusting the code to lock and unlock your coins, and with the other ones you're trusting a third party. So you're basically trusting the exchanges and the companies that are paying you your interest to give you your money back when you want to end that locking time period. So yeah, so that's kind of the thing now, is everyone's offering interest, but with here you're trusting the code versus trusting a human being.
Okay, thanks. Sorry to keep asking questions. I'll let someone else have a turn. All right.
No, you're asking great questions. I really appreciate it. Like I said, a lot of this it's a brand new language. It's a brand new thought process. Just money itself is something that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people think that money is real. They think that it's this paper in your pocket of coins or something physical that you can touch. But the truth is, money is whatever people agree it is, you know? So if you and I agree that we're going to trade back and forth in motorcycles or potato chips, then that's money to us. And basically, the government has their made up internet money. And as the founder of Hex says, our made up internet money is better than their made up internet money, because we actually control it and we can trust a code to do what the code's going to do. Most likely, I mean, there is a chance of hacks. There is a chance of bugs in the code. But Hex has one of the best running codes out there. So that's something that I enjoy about it. And then, like I said, the made up internet money that the government and the banks control is not your money. If they want to freeze your bank account, if they want to, stop you, if you want to pay someone that they don't like, you're not able to pay someone that they don't like. I got another question. We got one. Oh, we got one from Lonnie. Hey, Lonnie.
Hi, how are you, Max?
I'm doing very well. It's great to see you.
Great to see you too. So thank you for the invite. You might as well be speaking a foreign language to me.
Yes.
So where would be a good resource? I mean, where would I go to understand just even the basic ABCs of crypto?
Actually, that's the reason that I started this channel, because I had a lot of people ask me, where do you go for step one, like very basic, very primary information. And the truth was that I'd been listening to these podcasts and been in crypto for quite a while. Like Jason, 7 or 8 years ago, I was learning what a blockchain was. I was learning what a token was. I was learning what mining was and all these words. And so I learned this language so long ago that I forget how hard it is or how new it is to make this big leap forward of understanding staking and coins and all these things. So the truth is, that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what a lot of people in Hex are trying to do right now, is we're trying to make it easy enough and understandable enough for people to walk their grandma through it, or to walk someone completely new through this process. And right now there's enough steps to it, and it's complicated enough. You really need someone like myself to hold your hand and say, click this, now click this, now click this. But once you're set up and once you have your first amount of hex locked and you see it paying you interest every day, and then you go do your first unlock and turn that money back into your checking account, that's when it becomes real, and that's when it starts to make sense. It's actually easier to watch it and experience it than to understand it. And currently I don't have any there are 2 channels where they speak more common, like everyday English to people that I've really enjoyed, but they just showed up in the last week. And one of those is called Crypto Heartbeat. And yeah, Crypto Heartbeat is an older gentleman from Canada, and he does real estate. And so when I load this up onto YouTube, I'm going to want to try to go back and watch this and add all these notes so you guys just click on them. But his name is Crypto Heartbeat, and Crypto Heartbeat comes from real estate and talks a lot about, he can speak like about 401ks and everyday investments that some people already understand. The other one is called Rags to Riches, and he's a younger guy, but he's more to the point and he speaks a lot more at a beginner's level. So I'll try to add those two. Other than that, it's really going on to someplace like Twitter or Facebook and finding a group of hexicans like myself and just asking them questions. And the great thing about the people in Hex is that they're very patient and they're very helpful, and they really want to help people, and they're not out there to charge you money or get something from you. They really believe in this product and in this revolution so much that almost anyone that you'd meet that's a Hexagon on Facebook or Twitter, like myself, would be more than happy to answer the most basic questions and walk you through the beginning of it. Does that answer your question, Lonnie? I don't know if that was
Oh no, it's
very
amazing.
helpful.
Thank
I
you.
hope
Thank you. I
hopefully it was
actually then have another question.
okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So when you're talking about revolution, like what are you referring to as far as the way we look at money? Like what's the revolution?
I
Like the
think
leap
that
in stock?
yeah, I think that the revolution is people having control of their own money, literally being your own bank. So when I talk about those 12 words being important and writing them down and keeping them in a safe place, that's because if you lose this money, there's no support, there's no help desk, there's no customer support you can call that's going to help you get it back. And so that's a big change in the way people deal with money, like having real control over their money and freedom. And so that's kind of what I meant by like the revolution is for a long time we thought that we had to have banks and governments and institutions take over stuff that's like money and control it for us. And the truth is, with technology today, we can take over our own money. And obviously not everyone does this, and you can't just pay someone crypto in a lot of situations, but um it's going to get to the point that it's doing that, because if you think about it right now, the US dollar is cryptocurrency. The dollar that we use on our debit cards and that goes in and out of our bank accounts, it's all digital, and it is controlled with security and cryptography. So it's a digital cryptocurrency already. The difference is that we don't have the control or the private keys or the passwords to that money. They do. And so, like I said, our made up internet money is better than their internet money because we have control over it, and no one can take it from you, until, without coming into your house and trying to force you to give up your secret phrase, which in a lot of situations, they don't know who owns what, because a lot of this stuff is pseudonymous, meaning there's that, if we could pull up that page of MetaMask real quick. So up there on the account number, you see there's 0x448, there's that public address. And the public address is kind of like an email address. if people know your email address, they can send you email, but they can't get inside of your email and delete email or respond to email or read it. They can only send you it. So if someone knows that address, anyone in the world can send it to you, but they don't even have to know who owns that address or who controls that address. So you have a little layer of privacy there, as long as you don't, tweet about it, write about it, or send that to somebody. But once you send that to somebody, your name's connected to it, at least to that person. And so, like I said, if as long as you keep this stuff private, no one really knows that that is your money on the internet. And so that's pretty exciting too, is there's a little more privacy, because you're not going to have much privacy at your bank. You're not going to have much privacy anywhere else. Again, I guess when you go back to the exchange, you're going to give the exchange all of your information, just like the bank account. And so if you move your money from the exchange to the MetaMask, then the bank may know that that account is linked to you because you sent it there. But the truth is, they don't know if that was you sending it to yourself or if that was you sending it to another person.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I'm getting more complicated when I should be getting more basic. So
Well, the way you're explaining it is very simplified, but it's great, simple communication, as easily digestible as can be, I guess, something that's so new. So thank you. Max, the question for you would be also, are you interested in like spreading this call out, or are you, keeping it more intimate? What's the intention for these calls? Did you want us to share it with others?
yeah, I would like to share this information with everyone who's interested in learning it or taking action with it.
And how would we best share that?
Right now, this is the best way I've been able to. I've been doing a lot of one-on-one. So I would go over to someone's house. I sit down at their kitchen table and we pull out a laptop and we go through this step by step by step. And it's great because they feel secure and they know that I'm there to help them. The problem is that there's only so many people like me that have been doing this for the last few years that have the time or the inclination to go help people. And so what I'm trying to do with Zoom and with YouTube is I'm trying to spread as much of this information and make it as digestible as possible to as many people as possible. Because I mean, you talked about those four different motivations at the beginning. Some people are motivated by security and stability, and some people are motivated by changing big things about the world or their life. Then you have some people that are motivated by logic and numbers and things that make sense. And then you have some people that are motivated by their craft and by their interests and hobbies, And so each one of these people can use this tool for their own motivations in life, I think, to create more financial freedom. And so if I can spread financial freedom to as many people as possible, that would make me very happy. So that's really my goal with this.
That's amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. And let me say thanks to everyone who's joined. Like I said, I'm honored and humbled anytime someone will sit down and talk to me about this, or anytime someone will take my advice and take action on setting something up. To me, that's a huge compliment, and that's so satisfying that someone would trust me enough or trust the process enough to give it a shot and to give it their time and their attention, and most of all their money, because that's people, that's where people store their value. Right there is in their money. So if someone's willing to put their money into this, then that's a huge vote of confidence. I really appreciate that. I appreciate all of you guys for being here.
Hey, Max, I have a question.
Yeah.
And I had to step away for a phone call. So if you've already said this, I'm sorry for repeating it, but can you speak to the conversion rate a little more? As far as once it goes to PulseChain, to the p-hex, I've read and seen some things that it's going to be valued at less than a penny per coin. I don't know if that's true, but it seems like there's not much incentive to pay more for hex hoping that you'll get more pulse. Am I off base there, or is that kind of right?
No, a lot of people are trying to figure out, where am I going to get the best bang for my buck? Which is basically, that's a question everyone wants to know, is like, how do I put my money on the fastest horse in the track? And that's part of investing, and that's part of the what's the word I'm looking for? The word I'm looking for is um it's a nicer way of saying gambling, basically. But basically, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of volatility here. There's going to be the price of hex on Ethereum is going to go up and down quite a bit when the new hex comes out. The new hex is going to come up and down quite a bit, and the Pulse coin is going to go up and down quite a bit. The best thing you can do when you're trying to guess at what a coin is going to do, or guess what price it's going to do, is to study the history of similar coins. So when it comes to Pulse is going to be a fork of Ethereum. So if you go back and you study the price of Ethereum and what it did, they had a pre-sale on Ethereum, and they sold, thousands and maybe even like hundreds of thousands or millions of Ethereum at the beginning at 3 cents a piece. So they had this pre-sale, and people bought Ethereum for 3 cents a piece. And when it went live, or when it launched, its price was $3. So it went from 3 cents all the way up to $3, and then it crashed down to 15 cents.
Gotcha.
Right? And then it kind of climbed up and did its thing, and kind of found more of a regular up and edge, where it didn't get as crazy volatile as that. And then it was under around $1 for a while, and then it hit the next wave of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin does 4-year waves, basically, with its price. Right now we're on the wave up, and it was about 3.5 years since the last wave, right? And so it hit a wave up, and it went to $1,000, and then it crashed back down and did the 3-year wave, 4-year wave up to $4,000. This time, where it broke $4,000. So if you look at Pulse, and they say, okay, and during the pre-sale that was 19 days long, which is over now, excuse me, we were getting 100 Pulse for a penny. And right now, people that are late trying to buy the pre-sale are spending about a penny and a half per Pulse. Now, if it launches tomorrow and it's a penny and a half, that's great, but chances are it's going to crash because of all those people that bought 100 for a penny, right?
Right.
So you're going to have this, probably a crash and a spike and a crash and a spike in all three of these coins. So instead of trying to time it, it's better to come up with a budget, or maybe an amount of money that you're willing to invest. So let's say you thought you had $100 or $1,000 that you were going to invest in these three coins. I would say take 30% of that and put it in Hex right now before the split, because that'll become, that'll double. So that'll become 60% of the coins that you're going to get. And then you have 60% to then invest into Pulse. And so instead of trying to time the market and buy everything on sale at the right time, it's better to just come up with a schedule and say, I'm going to buy $30 of Pulse this week or this month, no matter what the price is, and to do that during the first year. Because even if it goes up and down dramatically in the first year, you're most likely going to get a way better deal in the first year than you were in the second year and the third year and the fourth year, right?
Okay.
So I would say, instead of trying to know what is the best price of each coin individually, I would say come up with a strategy that says, I'm going to put this much money into this coin at this time for this long. And then also at the same time, you say, I'm not going to sell this coin until I make this much money on this coin. And if you go in with that, then you're helping take some of the emotions of greed and fear off the table, right?
Right.
Because if you're just freaking out because it's dropping, or you're freaking out because it's going up really high, you're probably going to make decisions that later on were not great decisions. You know, in hindsight, you'll look back and go, oh, that really wasn't a great price to buy, or oh, that really wasn't a great price to sell. But if you buy it regularly, no matter what the price is, high or low, you're going to get an average price the first year that is going to be better than the price the second year, the third year, the fourth year. And that's something that you can control, because you can't really control how high the price goes, how low the price goes, how long the price stays down there. Like right now, the price of Hex is down around 20 cents. And people that are hoping to live off Hex, like to sell this to pay their bills, they're freaking out because they want it to go back up to 50 cents, obviously. But they don't control how long it stays at 20 cents. Right? Like it could stay here for a week, it could stay here for a month. And guess what? Your bills are going to keep coming every month. So it's better to have a strategy based on time versus price.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You bet. Anybody else want to join the party? If not, I can go all the way back to the beginning again.
I have a question. Hi, Ron.
Yes. Hey, how are you
So
doing?
when the very second slide you showed that says create an account on exchange, and we
Yes.
got too many options for me, which
Yeah.
would you choose if you were just starting?
Let's go back to that. Can we go back to that? We got Luigical in the studio helping with all of the technical stuff. So go back to, yeah, create an account. So this is a slide you were talking about, right?
Are you sharing your screen? It's the one
Oh,
that
sorry,
has,
it's not shared yet. There we go.
yeah,
So,
that one.
Yeah, so create an account on exchange. So Coinbase is one of the largest exchanges right now. They've been around the longest, and I would say they have some of the better customer service. So as long as your money is on these exchanges, there is customer service. But like I said, as long as the money's on their exchange, they own it. But you've kind of got to go through this to get the crypto to get into cryptocurrency right now. I mean, there are some like person-to-person websites and other ways to get crypto, but this is the easiest way for someone to get started right here. And so
Kind of saying the benefits of Dharma IO, and that's kind of what I honed in on. And for some reason, I was like, that's where I'm going to start, and I don't know why. And then I just decided I should just ask.
No, that's a great question. Because like I said, these are all going to basically take this around the same time period to get set up, and they're all going to require a lot of the same information from you. And a good way to think about it is if you go down to Mexico on vacation, you're going to have to convert some of your dollars into pesos, right? And there's always a rip-off exchange right there when you get off the airport, off the airplane. And if you go to that exchange, they're going to rip you off. They're going to charge you the highest fees. And but they're very friendly, right? They're very well, they usually speak pretty good English as well, right? And then as you go further into the markets or further from the airport, you're going to find other places, other money exchanges to change your dollars into pesos and vice versa, right? And so I would think about these the same way. Dharma, the one thing about Dharma is that they don't work with some of the local banks and the smaller regional federal credit unions. So if you have like, Bank of America and Wells Fargo and those ones, you'll be able to download this on your phone and buy Hex directly. You will have to buy Ethereum at this time as well to pay the fees to move your Hex around. And like I said, it's going to hold your Hex coins for 7 days before it allows you to move it over to that MetaMask wallet where you have all the control. Does that make sense? But I've actually sat down and helped people use Coinbase, Crypto.com, Gemini. The only one here I haven't used is Staker app. And I have the Staker app on my phone because it's a great way to view updates of your interest and your value of your crypto. But they do have a built-in exchange where you can buy the Hex on that as well. That's the only one I don't have experience with though.
Okay.
And so, like I said, if like for instance, I live in a small town, you might know, and if you go to the local bank here, the local bank here is going to work with Coinbase. They're going to work with Crypto.com. They may not work with Dharma or Staker, but they'll probably work with Gemini. And Cash App is a lot like Venmo, so that's the one I've used a lot to go in and out of Bitcoin. But like I said, then I've got to go through some extra steps with Cash App. So that's some of the most used exchanges right there, and a little bit on each of those. Does that answer your question? You have some further questions about the exchange?
No,
or where?
that helps. I just had one of my adult kids sitting with me at the beginning, and they said, just ask him exactly which one to do, because it's hard to tell which of these to do. But I think you've given me some good information.
Right. And some other things you might, at this time, because the Ethereum fees are so high, you're going to lose 10 to 20% of your money going in and coming out, going all the way into your stuff making interest to all the way out back to money in your bank account. And that's why we're so excited about the new network. Is the new network is going to be fast, it's going to be cheap, and so we're not going to have to take quite a hit going in and out of the market. And I used to set up a lot of people with $50 or $100 because a lot of people couldn't afford to risk $50 or $100, and it doesn't put their family at risk. It doesn't affect their financial standing. But recently with these fees, I've been hesitant to help people in with less than $1,000 because I want them to have some meat on the bone when they get in there and start earning interest. And I usually have them stake for at least 2 years to make sure that that compound interest overcomes the fees, right? And so, yeah. Oh, and if they don't want to lock it up for 2 years, I usually have them leave it liquid and just watch the price go up and down and get used to seeing that, if that helps as well.
Okay, thanks. That does help.
No problem.
Hey,
Thank you
Matt,
for the question. Yes.
you might want to tell them that before they buy anything, to give you a call or whatever and help them walk through that, so that they're making sure their transactions are more likely to go through, rather than getting charged $100 and not having their transaction go through.
Yeah, that's a great point. We have had some people pay some transactions, and the price that they were paying wasn't enough for the network, the Ethereum network. And so people have actually spent like $100 trying to swap coins or move coins. And if the transaction fails on Ethereum, they still take your money, even though you didn't get what you want, which is yet another reason that we're really excited about this new network, because it should work much better than the Ethereum network.
So everybody can call Max. He doesn't care. You can call
me. You can DM me on Twitter under Hexray Vision, right there. So it's Hexray Vision, no spaces on Twitter. I am on Facebook, but I don't think I'm Hexray Vision on Facebook. And then of course on my channel, you can hit me up there as well. So Hexray Vision on Twitter, or Hexray Vision on YouTube, or a lot of you, well, actually almost all of you have my personal phone number. So you can just text me or call me if you have any questions, because I would rather you wait for a little bit and don't ever feel like you're bothering me, because I would rather help you get this set up right than to make a mistake that's irreversible, So.
And then, sorry, Max, I'm late to the party. Did you go over like staking and how you earn your interest in staking and how that works?
Not at all. We basically went over a really fast tutorial of setting up MetaMask, and then we answered some questions on the exchanges, but we didn't go into locking it up, unlocking it, mostly because we didn't have a chance to get those slides ready to give you guys a visual. But there are quite a few videos on YouTube that may or may not make sense to you guys, where they go through locking it up and unlocking the hex. I just don't have any off the top of my head that I can recommend, just because of what experience level each of you are at, you know. So
So can you just kind of go over briefly how they earn interest then? Like how they
sure.
actually make the money?
Sure. Okay. So basically this is just like a bank CD, except for, like I said, it's code instead of human beings. So you take a certain amount of your token or your coins, and you're going to go in and you're going to set the time period and the amount of coins that you're locking up. So let's say that I lock up 100 of these coins at 20 cents a piece today, and I lock them up for 2 years. Well, during those, I'm going to basically sign a smart contract with the computer that keeps me from being able to sell those coins for that period of time. And so I wait those 2 years, and when those 2 years are done, there's going to be a button I can click on an interface or a web page that lets me lock and unlock the coins, which is go.hex.com, which is the one that most people use right now. And I'm going to click on that button. And when I click on that button, it's going to charge me a fee. So it's going to charge me a fee when I lock it up. It's going to charge me a fee when I unlock it. But when I unlock it, it's going to recreate those 1,000 coins that I locked up fresh. And then it's going to also create all of the interest that I earned during those 2 years. And all of those coins will immediately be put right back into my MetaMask wallet. So they'll appear when I mint them, they appear back into the MetaMask wallet where they came from when I locked them. I'm not sure if that answers your question or kind of gives you an idea of how it works. The other thing is that let's say, for instance, you go to the bank, you give them $1,000, you say, I want to buy a CD for a year, 6 months, or whatever. If you come back before that time period's up, they hit you with a penalty, right? They're going to take some of that interest and maybe even some of the $1,000 that you gave them, depending on what your agreement was with the bank. And those penalties that you pay are going to go to the bank. In Hex, it works a lot differently. In Hex, if I lock up $1,000 worth of Hex for 2 years, and a month later I decide I want the money back, I'm going to pay a huge penalty because I didn't fulfill my contract and I didn't stay true to my word. But that penalty, instead of going to a bank or someone else, it's going to be distributed to all of the people that are locked up, that kept their word. And so in a way, it's like a truth machine. So every day I receive, on top of my regular interest, I receive a little bonus, sometimes bigger, sometimes smaller, based on how many people broke their contracts early. So that's also another really interesting thing about how this works is if you stick to your word, you're going to be rewarded for doing what you said you were going to do. And that penalty changes throughout the life of the contract. So the earlier that you break your penalty, break your contract, the bigger the penalty is going to be. And towards the end of it, if you have like a week or a month left out of 2 years, it's still going to hit you with a penalty of some of your interest, but it's not going to be as severe as at the beginning. Excuse me while I get a drink of water here. And anyone else? Any other questions from the group? I don't think there's any other questions here. So let's see here. See what else I got here. All right. So hopefully, like I said, we're going to be loading this up to my channel Hex-Ray Vision on YouTube. So you guys can watch it again, especially during the tutorial part. There are other tutorials online, you know, on YouTube and other things that'll tell you how to set up your MetaMask wallet. But what I really want to emphasize most of all is to write down your words in a safe, secure place. Write them down in duplicate, and because that is going to be your money. And what might seem like a little bit of money today, say $50, can very easily grow to hundreds of thousands of dollars in the next 5, 10, or 15 years. And so there's just like the people that lost their Bitcoin 10, 15 years ago, and now it's worth millions and billions of dollars. I believe that the same thing, I've seen the same thing happen over the last 2 years of Hex, being in Hex, and I've seen it grow to quite a valuable amount of money with myself and some of my friends. And so really take this as seriously as you can. Pretend that it is $1 million that you're protecting right off the bat, because I believe in the future, even small amounts of money are going to be worth a lot of money. So treat it as though it is $1 million now, because, you know, there you go. It very well may be in the future. So write down those words, you know, keep them safe. Can I get some more, any other questions there? We got another question from Lonnie. Are you there, Lonnie? Oh, you're muted. There you go. It looks like you're muted on your end, because we got you unmuted here. So we'll see if Lonnie gets hers unmuted. How about now? Try now, Lonnie. And then it looks like Heinz has a question as well. Let me answer Heinz's question real quick, and we'll see if we can get that working on Lonnie's. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, Max?
I can.
Okay. My question is there a difference between Pulse and Pulse Swap?
Yeah, as far as I know, Pulse Swap is something that they're going to use to change one coin into another.
Okay.
And I mean, it's probably not live because Pulse isn't live yet. If you were to search PulseChain or Pulse token right now on the internet, you're going to find Pulse and you're going to find PulseChain tokens, and they are not the legitimate ones. And so I would assume right now that Pulse Swap is someone trying to get people to invest in it because it sounds like Pulse and PulseChain, but it's probably not a legitimate one yet.
Well, I was listening to Balliet Brand the other day. He was talking about Pulse and kind of what we are to expect when it launches. But then he started talking about Pulse Swap, and I just didn't understand. Okay. And then he referred to it kind of similar to the Uniswap that I already have seen. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go back to the very first slide where you're going to connect your MetaMask wallet to ethhex.com, right there on the bottom. Just one second, we're going to share it right here. Okay, so as you can see down there towards the bottom, we have the ethhex.com, or sorry, we have the MetaMask wallet, and then we have the ethhex.com, which is Uniswap right now. And then you have go.hex.com. And so what a lot of people are talking about is we would like to create a better wallet than MetaMask that's easier for people to use. And so in the future, we'll probably have a different wallet that'll be easier to use than MetaMask. And then in the future, we'd also like to create an exchange or a swap that would be easier to use than Uniswap. So if you were to go to ethhex.com right now, on your phone or on your browser, it's going to take you to a front end of Uniswap. And so what he's talking about, what Balliet Brand's probably talking about, is they're going to try to create a better version of Uniswap, and it'll probably be called Pulse Swap. So we're talking, when you hear things about Pulse Swap, Pulse Wallet, other things with Pulse, these are most likely products that people are working on right now, so that in the future we can have a better user experience. Because as you can tell, the newer people here, they're like, it's so confusing and overwhelming to a lot of them, that if we could walk them through it and make it as easy to use as something like Facebook or Venmo, then we're getting to where we want to get. Then we can reach the people we want to reach and help everyone. But right now, it really does take a nerd or someone that's messed around with it for a while, like Balliet Brown, that kind of understands it myself, to kind of walk through it and translate this language into English. So yeah, so he's most likely talking about a product or a project that they're working on right now, so that when Pulse goes live, we can use better versions of what I have listed on the screen right now.
Okay, and then I just have one more question. When Pulse does launch, do we have to do anything to, receive it, or does it just?
Well, if you put some money in on the sacrifice or the pre-sale,
Yes.
then it will actually remember the wallet address that we were talking about before. So it's going to remember your MetaMask wallet, and it's going to deposit those coins into your MetaMask. Another thing I can show you right now, actually, if you go back to that one, right, keep going forward to the front page of. So here's your MetaMask wallet, right? And you can see that you got account one and you got the amount, and then you got your Ethereum. But up in the corner there, you see where it says Ethereum mainnet, right there. That's the network that you're connecting your wallet to. That's talking to the main Ethereum network, right? And so what we'll have most likely when Pulse launches is it'll be either added to that drop-down menu, or we can add it to that drop-down menu. So you would actually be switching over to the PulseChain there, and all of your coins and all of your copies from Ethereum will be showing up in your MetaMask wallet. But hopefully we'll have an even better wallet, that'll do it automatically. But if you have access to your MetaMask wallet, you will have the private keys that you need to access any other wallet that comes along that might be easier to use.
Okay. Thank you.
So that's, you bet. Thank you for the question.
Yeah.
So that's a really good question, because a lot of people are like, well, what do I do when it does? How do I claim my coins? How do I get my stuff? How do I lock and unlock stuff? Now, Lonnie, we did open up a chat box just in case we didn't get your microphone working there. Can you hop on now? Try talking, or if you need to type it, we can type there. Okay. So how often are you conducting these Zoom calls? Not often enough. That's the answer. And do I already have a schedule? No, I really don't. I need to get one. And that's why I've been collecting people's emails, because my wife, who is much smarter than I am and much more organized than I am, is putting together this list so we can email all of you. And can we do it weekly? Yeah, I would love to do something like this weekly. It may not be on the same night every night based on what my kids got going on, or other engagements or things that I've got to get done. But that's a really good idea, is to come in every week and do something like this. And maybe I can do another part of the setup and answer more questions. And the feedback that you guys give me is really, really valuable, because the questions you ask are things that I haven't thought of for a long time. And you're asking them in the way that a normal person would ask them, instead of the way that a nerd would ask them. So yeah, I would like to do something weekly. And yeah, maybe next time I need to start with setting up an account and go through and do a PowerPoint presentation with some of those exchanges, and say, here's where you click, here's where you enter your information, here's the next screen, here's the next screen, and go on and help people actually set up the exchanges that Molly was asking about, because that would be very helpful. So let's plan on doing this at least every week if possible. And then we can keep things updated. So as PulseChain drops, as prices rise and crash, we can deal with all of that. And then I can get your guys' feedback, and I can do a better job at sharing this information and answering your guys' questions in the ways that you need them answered, that's most helpful to you. And then if we share this, if you guys want to share this with the people in your life that have questions about this stuff, that's even better. And everything that we're learning here, and that I'm learning, that you're learning, we can share on YouTube and share with a broader audience, because for every person that's on this stream right now, there's another 1,000 that are going to hear about Hex and Pulse in the next year, and they're going to want to try and figure it out. They're going to be trying to find information on how to get into this world. So that's a great suggestion, is to do a weekly stream. In fact, I'm going to look at my calendar right now and see if we can set one up right now, because that would be really helpful and useful. And so let's see here. Let's plan on, and I know Mondays aren't great for everybody, but they're pretty good for me. So I would say let's plan on next Monday, the 15th. I'm actually putting it in my schedule right now. So next Monday, 15th at 6 p.m. I know 6 p.m. doesn't work for everybody. Some people are working or they're not off work. I mean, I know some of you guys are in Pacific time zone, or some of you guys are actually even in an even later time zone. So this might be past your bedtime. But we can go as long as you guys need to go, and answer questions as long as you guys got questions. And then hopefully, like I said, we can do bite-sized pieces of setting up an account, setting up the MetaMask. Hopefully what I went over this tonight was really helpful in setting up a MetaMask wallet on your laptop or desktop. So let's go ahead and put 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Next week, we'll start another stream. And so I'm putting that in my calendar right now.
Hey,
And does
Matt,
anyone else have another question here? Yeah,
I do,
go ahead.
if I could.
You bet.
So when Pulse goes over, will all your Ethereum-based tokens be copied over? So not just Hex, but if you have Ethereum or something like that, would you have to move that to your MetaMask wallet to make sure that that's copied over, or is it just straight Hex? I've read a little of both.
Well, as soon as you go into the PulseChain, all of your stuff is going to be there. It's going to show up in your MetaMask wallet. So I think there's thousands of tokens that run on the Ethereum network that are going to get copied over. Now, go ahead.
But if it's in a Coinbase account or something, it won't get copied, correct?
That's correct. If it's on an exchange, the exchange will get the copy. You won't get the copy. And that's why I try to tell everyone to move all their coins over to their MetaMask, where you have the private key and you control it, because then you're going to get paid the copy. If you have Ethereum or an Ethereum token on an exchange, then yes, correct. You're not going to get the copy of the exchanges.
Okay, just want to clarify that. Thank you.
No, thank you for bringing that up. That's a very important point, because there's a lot of people that are going to expect to get these free coins, and then they're going to find out that their exchange got the coins.
Gotcha.
Yep. All right. Lonnie, it still shows that you're unmuted, but if you have any questions, hit them in the chat. Let's see, do we have a chat for everyone that they can just throw questions in? Let me check the chat. If you don't want to ask a question with your microphone and you just want to chat a question, then we can do that as well. So anyone else have a question on the microphone or check and chat? All right, awesome. So like I said, we're going to be, let's see here. Oh, no, that's not a question. We're going to be uploading this to my YouTube channel. And so feel free to come back and watch your beautiful faces on here. Again, I'm so thankful for you guys showing up and having a chance to answer any of these questions and talk about something I'm really passionate about. So again, thank you very much for joining me. Next week, we'll be doing this again. Tell your friends that they can send me an email address or a phone number of anyone. And well, let me say this to everyone on YouTube. If you see this and you want to join the next live workshop, then you can send me in a private message or direct message me on Twitter or on Facebook, YouTube. You guys can send me your email and your phone, or a name and a phone number, whatever you want to give me is fine. It doesn't have to be your personal one. It can be a throwaway one. I don't care, but we can send you on the email blasts, and you can be a part of the live workshop instead of watching the replay, which allows you to ask questions directly to me and to other people here that may have answers for us. And you can also reach me at hextips@gmail.com. So that's HEXTIPS @gmail.com. And when we upload this to YouTube, I'll try to do links of all those websites and YouTube's creators and people that I was referencing. And I might even be able to find some more tutorials that will help you walk through some of these exchanges and link those in as well. Because anything we can do to make this easier for new people to get into, the better. So again, thank you very, very much for your time, and have a wonderful night, everybody. We'll see you next week.